2 players, it's actually a little fast.
But each tile itself is its own mini-game.
Theme will be divisive.
Very spicy. I say this stuff, and I know you're not gonna make you watch any of it. Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell. Welcome to Week in Review. This is a series of videos we do where we talk about all the games that we reviewed and videos that we've done over the past week, and then you can learn more about them. You can watch the full video. So we're going to just give you short snippets. Here we go.
Hey everybody, I'm Z Garcia. Here's what I reviewed last week. So I reviewed In the Footsteps of Marie Curie. I gave this a 6 out of 10. I think it is educational. It's got some interesting stuff that's included in the box above and beyond the gameplay that tells you about this person and about her life, and that's very interesting. I found the gameplay, while short and fairly punchy for the game length, to be rather lucky as well. And if that's something that doesn't bother you as much, perhaps you're going to have a good time with it. I personally found it bothered me a little bit to have so much input randomness at the beginning of every one of my rounds, and then I could, do something with that. But I wish it had been a little less sort of flip of the coin. I reviewed Rune Masters. I'm giving this one a 6.5 out of 10. And this one, I thought, did outstay its welcome. It's actually funny. I think at 4 players, it outstays its welcome. It's a little too simple for how long it's going to be. I think at 2 players, it's actually a little fast, maybe. A little too quick. But the gameplay is an interesting tower defense game with pretty straightforward rules. It kind of feels a little bit like Castle Panic, the dice game, if you know that game. Artwork is nice. The whole thing really is very streamlined and very simple, to the point that one of my big concerns is replayability here. It is pretty much the same thing every time you play this one. And for a cooperative game, I really want that variety. Every time I play, I want it to be some variability in the play. So 6.5. I reviewed Floresta, which I gave a 7.5 to. This one looks like a cooperative game, but it's actually not. You are going to be making basically combinations of your trees. You're putting out your trees and fighting forest fires. And every board you are playing on in this sort of 3x3 setup scores differently. So a lot of variability in this one. A neat concept. I think the visual clarity I wish was a little higher. It looked a little busy. It's sort of, gameplay information across the top of an illustration. Those two things not really meshing very well for me. But the gameplay makes up for that, and it is very solid. I reviewed Fairy Ring, 7.5 for this one as well. Really clever system with card drafting and then a moving piece that goes around the table in front of not just you, but every other player at the table as well. And where it stops matters. Matters for you, matters for the player that stops in front of. So really clever. Nice twist on drafting. A very good-looking game. I enjoy this one and certainly would recommend it. That idea of the traveling fairy is a little bit weird. Takes some getting used to, but once you do, you'll be comfortable, I think. And then lastly, I reviewed Castle Combo, which I adored. I gave it a 9 out of 10. This one, you are going to be taking 9 turns, purchasing a card, putting it in a 3x3 in front of you, and then scoring off of the combos, combinations, the sort of things you were able to pull off. And it's super, it matches my style. There's short-term plans and long-term plans. You're trying to make sure that as you play a card, you're getting money and getting keys, 2 kinds of currencies, but that you're also thinking about that end game scoring. It's a very charming looking game. The only things I pretty much don't like are the setting and the title. I find both to be very pedestrian, but the gameplay more than makes up for that. So really enjoy Castle Combo. And that's it for me. I'll see you on the next one.
Folks, I regret to bring you the return of Chris Time. Hey, everybody. This week I took I don't actually need the microphone. Middle Ages, I gave an 8 out of 10. I find this to be a very fun, interactive re-implementation of Majesty for the Realm. It uses King Dominoes type tile drafting, where you take tiles and determine turn order at once. Some people found this way too mean, and I haven't. I find that the meanness is controlled. You can have a bad game of it every once in a while, but I still like what's going on. Quick, enjoyable, an 8 out of 10. Next up, Inferno, 8.5. This is the Red Mojo Euro game, Inferno, that I really enjoy. It has a great, clever action selection where you're moving souls through hell, and that determines where you get to place your workers. It's a thematic Euro. I think the theme will be divisive, but I like the way that it's carried out very well, 8.5. Lord of the Rings, Duel for Middle-earth, and 9 from me. I like this re-implementation of Seven Wonders Duel. I think that the card drafting, I think that the tension, all of the stuff is just cleaned up a little bit more tense. I like the presentation of it. I could play this with my 9-year-old daughter, and she said, okay, maybe we should go watch those Lord of the Rings movies. So incidental other benefits. And then Ito, a party game that I give a 9. This is my favorite party game to come out in a long time. One that you just simply are trying to line things up in numerical order as you're giving clues that represent what your number might be. It is dead simple. It is so fun. A review that you should go check out if at all you're interested in party games. This is a Dice Tower Essentials game, so fair warning, but they get picked to be in the Dice Towers Essentials lines because they're good games, and I very much agree. We also finished up the Essen vlogs, some of the last of the travel vlogs and stuff, to make sure to go check out that 4th day. There's some really cool stuff in there. Folks, that has been my week.
Hey guys, got quite a few games to talk about here, so let's just jump in cold. First up, I took a look at Inori. I was not very charmed by this game. I came in at a 6 on it. It's not one I'd necessarily recommend. I found it unintuitive to teach, unintuitive to play, and just kind of unimaginative. You just kind of fell into, I don't know, just kind of you knew what to do or you really didn't care what you did on your turn. So I think the cover is gorgeous. The pictures on the cards are gorgeous. It's a great production, but the gameplay just didn't cut it for me. So Inori was a 6. Also took a look at Sky Team Turbulence. This is the expansion to Sky Team, which was a huge hit last year. 2-player cooperative game with some limited communication. Turbulence brings in a couple new modules, some new airports, and I really liked it. I came in at an 8 on it. Do I think it's essential? No. But do I like the modules? Yeah, to the point that I'll probably always play with them. I think they changed up the focus of the lack of communication. It changed up how you're going to communicate and when. Like, is it most important to take action on something you can do? Or is it more important to communicate something? And so just kind of shaking things up a little bit, like Turbulence, I thought was a really good call. I like it. It's one that I'm definitely throwing right into the base game, and I'm glad it's there. So that's going to be Sky Team Turbulence at an 8. Also took a look at Rune Masters. Now, Rune Masters, I came in at a 7 for. I do like it, and it's one I would recommend in certain situations. I think if you're looking for a family weight dungeon crawler, maybe you can, and I say family weight because I don't think it's necessarily a kid's game, but it's one you can use to teach kids kind of that dice chucking, just trying to take out, I guess I say dungeon crawler, I guess it's more of a tower defense feel to it. So if you're trying to teach that to them, low rules overhead, but also putting together the strategy of, all right, these are my 5 dice, how can I make happen? So it kind of has that puzzle feel to it. I think it's a really good family weight game for those situations. Being said, it does get a little repetitive over time, so it's not one that I would pull to the table all the time, but if you're looking for that family weight tower defense, teaching a little bit of strategy with really lucky rolls, Rune Masters is a 7 for me. Took a look at In the Footsteps of Marie Curie. I did like this one. I came in at an 8 for it. This is the follow-up to In the Footsteps of Darwin, but they are, while in the same series, they are vastly different games. I think it's a little bit heavier, but it's still, I would classify this as a light to medium weight game. I mean, probably a light game, but not a filler game either. I think the Cube Tower brought some good tension to the game. I felt like you were able to plan ahead on your turns what you wanted to do. You just didn't know how you were going to be able to do it. So with the resource conversion, with the bonus cards you can take in order to get resources, I was most of the time able to do what I wanted to on my turn, and those times I couldn't. It just felt like an investment for future terms. So I did enjoy this. It is a random game, but there's enough mitigation that it sung for me. Not everyone who rated it, so be sure to check out that review if you're interested, but I really enjoyed Footsteps of Marie Curie. That's an 8. But my favorite game that we reviewed this week was Floresta, and I came in at an 8.5. That's a seal of excellence from me. I adore this theme. Of course, I love really nature games. I love that it is celebrating a specific area of the world. It is based on a place in Portugal. I love the bonuses that, there's some endgame triggers, and one of those endgame triggers is running out of your trees. And in order to do that, you have to use those 3 bonus trees. And so it really pushes you to look at the whole board and kind of plan ahead, have some variety in the cards that you play. But each tile itself is its own mini game. And so if there's one that you really jive with and really like, you can go into that. The game doesn't push you towards one strategy. So you want to kind of do a little bit of everything, but also it's okay to go hard onto one tile specifically. So I just found it to be a very good balance of easy to understand, but you can jump in and strategize a couple different ways. And scores in the end come pretty close, which means I think there is room for those specific strategies and really honing in on which one you like. So Floresta was an excellent game for me. I came in at 8.5. That's going to be it for me this week. Let's keep going.
Hey, I'm Joey Evans, and here's what I reviewed this week. First off was Blank Slate Challenge. That is the Blank Slate party game. This is made for 2 to 4 players. It's fine if you're looking for something to play with a smaller player count. I gave that a 6. Sky Team Turbulence, a new expansion for Sky Team. It adds, surprise, turbulence to this, and a couple other things. I really liked it a lot. I think it doesn't overcomplicate the game, and it's for a Sky Team. It's just more stuff, more airports. It has penguins, so it's good. Gave it 8.5. And then Andromeda's Edge. Love this base game. This gives you that huge epic feel. It is a bit of a Euro. Totally fine with that. You got some tracks. It looks great. This one I gave a 9.5. This is a near perfect game. So anyway, it was a good week for reviews. And those are the reviews that I did this week.
Hi, I'm Wendy Yee, and this week I was just in one review, and that was for Inferno. So Inferno I gave a 7.5, and that's because this game really ties in the theme. The themes tie into the mechanics, which I think is wonderful, and it makes it easier to teach. I think the production was very good. It is a very player-driven game, and so you can have games where things feel extremely tight, the game moves super fast, or you can have games where everyone just kind of takes their time, and you can build up and you can grow a little bit more. So it just, like I said, it's very player-dependent, and so that's why it's not a super high score, but I still very much enjoyed the game. I also have a rapid-fire roundup, so I reviewed a handful of games really quickly. Check that out as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and see who's next.
All right, well, jumping back 10 days, I took a look at Inori, a game about putting workers on cards. It's a very esoteric, weird little game that I enjoyed. 8 out of 10. I also did 7 quick game reviews and 6 games I played so you didn't have to. A lot of negative reviews in those mixes, but then Lord of the Rings, Duel for Middle-earth, what a solid game. 8.5. There's back and forth nature. It replaces Seven Wonders Duel for me. But that's not a necessarily negative thing against Seven Wonders Duel. Just I like this one better. I like the back and forth takeaway, and the theme doesn't hurt. And then Andromeda's Edge. This one's a 9. Very solid game in which it's a big space epic game, a sequel to Lord's Vale, Elder Vale, but it's basically a Euro game, putting workers out of ships and pulling them back. The pulling back aspect's so much fun. It works so neat. There's just so many options. I really like it. On Tuesday, I reviewed Fairy Ring, a nice game of you're moving fairies around this ring, scoring. This is a kind of almost a filler style game that I've really been enjoying and playing a lot. Very much enjoying it, an 8.5. I reviewed Middle Ages, a reprint of an older game for Her Majesty the Crown, or whatever the old game was called. This game about drafting tiles, there's a little bit of take that in it, but I still found it to be fun. 8 out of 10. Floresta, this is the new Dice Tower Essential game. Really enjoyed this one. About putting out forest fires and also, building trees out in these forests in Portugal, an 8 out of 10. And Ito, one of the best party games I've ever played. Just a fantastic game, the newest party game from the Dice Tower Essentials, 9 out of 10. This cooperative game in which you're trying to put things in order. I really love it. I also reviewed Castle Combo. This is a nice, solid game about putting these cards in a grid, a 7.5. One of the new expansions for Marvel United, War of Kings. I love all the characters in this, 10 out of 10. I did 6 games I played, and you should too. So I talked about some games that are all good, little good games, and check them out. And then we reviewed In the Footsteps of Marie Curie, the follow-up to In the Footsteps of Darwin. It's a very different game with a cube tower, a lot of good history in it, nice enjoyable game for families, 7.5. And then, of course, we did live plays this past week. We did the top 10. No, we didn't do a top 10. We did the worst gamer, the worst gamers and vote on. I'm recording this before then, so I don't know who won, but you can go check that out. Lots of different videos. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell, and this is Look Back on the Dice Tower.
I'm Christy. I just work. I don't have any fun. Work.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.
All right. Sorry, Chris. If my reviews were a little plain. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is so funny. Oh my gosh. Hilarious.